Yeah, I don't know.
I think that was
I haven't.
the director was Tom Shadyac or something like that. I doubt it. Comedy's just so different nowadays. I think it's going to be terrible.
It's
I was talking to my coworkers at lunch today, and we were watching the or the British Open or whatever today
yeah,
in the dining center, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't care about golf except the fact that Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out," and I'm like, "That's gonna be terrible." And they're like, "What? No, it's Adam Sandler," and I'm like, "Nah, it's gonna suck."
yeah. I'm not hopeful for it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be near. Plus, everybody's fucking old now. But my one buddy did tell me the Apple TV show with Owen Wilson.
Dude,
It
I
just
saw
came
a
over.
preview. Yeah, I saw a
Yeah,
preview for it, but I can't
he
remember
was
what
like
it's
a pro
called.
golfer, now retired, and it's kind of like a tin cup thing. And then, but he,
Is it
you know,
Swing Time, or am I thinking of something else? Why does or is Swing Time like a Netflix doc or some
no, it's
shit?
just like a one word. Hold on, I'll get on IMDb and then we'll dive in here.
Yeah, we're recording, motherfuckers.
Um,
Keep rolling. I'm just kidding. we are recording, but take your time.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah. Well, dude, since we're recording, first of all, before we get started, I do want to give a little shout out to my little nephew's birthday. He turned 12 today, so
Oh,
the chunky one, not the tall one.
I was gonna say which one? Not Caden. What's the other one's name?
Okay, Graham. Yeah, he's not chunky anymore.
Graham.
He was just a chunky baby, but he's grown out of it. So, but yeah,
12. Goddamn.
he's got quite
And what's
he's got
Caden?
quite
Like
the movie
19?
taste. Caden's 20, so and 6'5".
Jesus.
He's freaking huge, dude.
I'm like, what's his age? He's 6'5".
You heard me say 20, right?
Yeah, no, I did.
Okay. That's well, that delay sometimes it fucks us up. So, but yeah, me and Graham are constantly quoting Heavyweights. That's like his favorite movie.
Ready?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Bo.
Not you, dog. Hey, welcome to the podcast. My name is Jaaron. I'm with my good friend Zach. Zach, say hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is our podcast where we spend about an hour of our lives discussing, debating, and ultimately ranking our favorite movies in a particular category that Zach has thought up in his brain prior. And as always, if you're first time listening, we don't claim to be professional critics. We are not the smartest individuals ever. We're just two friends that grew up, love watching movies, love discussing movies, and we're going to bless you with an hour of ranking our favorite Martin Scorsese movies.
In short, we're a bunch of fucking amateurs, but don't worry about it.
Yeah. And AKA, we are Average Jives.
Yep.
Again, like I mentioned, this week we are ranking our top 10 favorite Martin Scorsese movies. For those first time listening, our outline is Zach and I have both picked 5 of our favorite movies. We spent some time ranking them 1 to 10, and we're going to eventually discuss and debate on the final top 10. First, we're going to introduce each movie. Zach and I will go back and forth introducing them, and then we'll get into the debate. Zach,
Yes.
what was your favorite, or what was your first movie on your list?
My first movie is Casino, 1995, with the screenplay by Nick Pileggi and Martin Scorsese, based on Pileggi's own book. It's starring Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Sharon Stone in her only Oscar-nominated performance, which surprised me. But
Yeah,
uh,
that's crazy.
the professional gambler Sam Ace Rossing relocates to fantastic Las Vegas with the blessings of the Chicago/KC mob under the protection of his buddy Nicky Santoro and his love Ginger. They create a paradise in the desert until they fuck it up. Uh, I had to.
Emphasis on fuck.
Yeah. Okay, I chose your boy Roger's review. Roger Ebrams, he
Yeah.
gave this film 4 stars, stating that Martin Scorsese's fascinating new film Casino knows a lot about the mafia's relationship with Las Vegas. Like The Godfather, it makes us feel like eavesdroppers in a secret place. He also added, unlike his other mafia movies, Mean Streets and Goodfellas, Scorsese's Casino is as concerned with the history as with the plot and character. Good old Raj, man. He loves him. He loves
Yeah,
him some Martin Scorsese.
he does. And for those who don't know, I take all of my reviews from Roger Ebert. And for those who don't know, they actually have a friendship, or they had a friendship.
They did, yeah.
And I think that played into a lot of Roger's reviews about Scorsese's movies because they do have that kind of intimate friendship together. I think he was a little harder on Scorsese than maybe some other actors or some other directors. And on a couple of particular movies, he kind of hints at that. It's where he has this relationship with Martin Scorsese and he kind of knows about his rivalry with other directors of his time and kind of holds him at a higher standard. So I think, from time to time, the reviews that I'm going to read, I think that plays into a lot.
Yeah.
My first movie I chose, After Hours, released in 1985. Tight 1 hour 37 minutes. I think it might be Martin Scorsese's shortest movie of all time.
Oh, you think?
Written I mean, I did a little bit of research. Most of his movies are well into 2 hours, and most of them are long, sprawling. I wouldn't say sagas, but they cover a large range of time. Even Taxi Driver, it's a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. It kind of goes over. Same with Departed and other movies like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where also other movies span years. So this is an hour 37, and I think it's the only Scorsese movie that is a one night movie.
Interesting.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I can't think of another one.
Right? Again, hour 37, written by Joseph Minion, who I was not familiar. Turns out it was his writing debut. A couple of other works he did I wasn't familiar with. I think it was his one and only. He wrote it when he was in his 20s and kind of thought, oh, I live in New York, and what if this happened? What if that happened? And somehow Griffin Dunn and Martin Scorsese got a hold of it, turned it into a movie. I think it might be one of his funniest movies. We'll get into that later.
We will have to. Yes.
Starring starring Griffin Dunn, Rosanna Arquette, uh, Linda Fiorentino, John Hurt, and Catherine O'Hara, which again we'll get into later, with a cameo appearance by both Cheech and Chong. It is about an average Joe named Paul Hackett who meets an interesting woman at a diner while reading a book who invites him over to her apartment for maybe the most bizarre evening of his life. Roger Ebert gave this movie a 4 out of 4 stars and, quote, the work of a master filmmaker who controls his effects so skillfully that I was drained by the end of this film. He also went on, I didn't quote this, but he said, during the movie, I felt like I had to leave the theater and recoup myself and then come back for some laughs. Laughs that in the end kind of seemed a little drained and even defensive.
Hmm.
No Oscar nominees, although it is one to note. Is it Cannes or Cannes? Cannes
I
Film
believe it's
Festival?
on. Yeah, but shit,
Cannes
could be.
goes. Marty actually won Best Director at Cannes and was a nominee for Palme d'Or, but yet no Oscar nominations or wins.
Shit, that's pretty. Yeah, I did. Even doing the research for After Hours, I didn't see that. But that's pretty. Even getting that
It's
award
it
at Cannes is pretty impressive. So
right. It's notable, right? And then for Oscars to just say no thanks,
yeah. Well, the film it wasn't that big of a hit, was it? My memory serves me right, or
not at all. And this is coming after Scorsese's big hits with Taxi Driver, Raging Bull. He was kind of on the outs. He wanted to make Temptation of
hmm
Christ and there were a lot of Catholic groups
Pushback.
going against him, and
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of
it
trying
was,
to run him out of Hollywood, basically. And he kind of took a couple years off, and then he chose one of a lesser script, After Hours, to kind of come back into it. So yeah, it wasn't a big box office hit. Not a lot of people saw it unless you were a big Scorsese fan. But for those who know the movie, I think pretty big fans. Kind of a cult classic, if you want to. Yeah, it would be kind of on the level of that.
it's a hidden gem of his. The
It
and,
is.
and I think some of the lack of success at After Hours had a little to do with like New York bombed pretty bad if I remember right. And
Real
between
bad.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, between that and trying to get The Last Temptation made and freaking that fell through, like you said, all the pushback and Hollywood never really likes they don't like to make religious pictures anymore. So
Right.
yeah, it was just I mean, yeah, obviously I watched it. I enjoyed it. We'll get to that later. But
Yeah. Also, to note, Scorsese was big in extracurricular activities, which kind of also kind of put him on the outs with some people, and he had a hard time producing movies at the time. And we'll get into all that later.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Zach,
up next,
second
correct?
movie.
Yes, yes.
Correct.
Okay, this next film, The Irishman from 2019, based on the Charles Brandt book, I Heard You Painted Houses, about the times of Frank Sharon. It's actually one of my uncle's favorite books and movies. Kind of wish we have similar tastes in movies. But the screenplay is written by one of my favorites, which I'm now starting to believe is one of our favorites, and that's Steve Zalian, who also wrote another Martin Scorsese movie, Gangs of New York. I don't know if he wrote another one, but that was the one that I knew off the top of my head when I was writing my notes. So I know that he wrote the screenplay to Gangs of New York. But it's The Irishman is starring Robert De Niro, and this is just a heads up. All the movies on my list star Robert freaking De Niro. So, uh, uh,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
most
just
Scorsese movies star Robert De Niro.
that's true. Damn it, you got me, you motherfucker. But it's
And then
also
he kind
starring.
of shifted to Leo.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's also starring Al Pacino, and this is his first collaboration with Scorsese. Joe Pesci, of course, Harvey Keitel, and basically every actor from the HBO series Boardwalk Empire. I don't have. Did you ever watch that
Yes.
show?
I have watched that show probably 5 times.
Nice, dude. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the
Yeah,
first three seasons. I think it kind of trickles off a little bit towards the last couple, but still, it's the first three seasons, in my opinion, are one of the all time great.
yeah,
And
and a majority of it is written by Terrence Winter, who we're definitely going to talk about later with a couple
yeah,
of different movies. Him and Scorsese kind of collaborated to create this show on HBO. Obviously, it's not a movie, so we're not going to go in depth. But for those who have not seen the show and are fans of Scorsese and kind of gangster movies and shows, please check it out. Boardwalk Empire. It is on HBO Max and will be forever.
yes, yeah. It was the Sopranos executive producers and the Entourage executive producers. They formed together. If you like both those shows, you'll love Boardwalk Empire. So also starring Anna Paquin. She's not in it very much. Doesn't talk. She only talks once. But anyway, a film that follows the life of Frank Sharon, a Buffalino family hitman, and his friendship with the famous Jimmy Hoffa. This is a writing from Time Magazine's Stephanie Zacharek, I believe. She gave The Irishman perfect score, calling the film clever and entertaining to the point where you may think that's all it's going to be. And then in the last half hour, it's deeply moving in a way that creeps up on you. And it's then that you see what
Wow.
Scorsese was working towards all along. And have you heard his? Because I'm pretty sure I heard in an interview that his name's pronounced Scorsese. I
Scorsese.
think
Yeah,
that's yeah,
I know. We
Scorsese.
always say Scorsese.
I think that's just how it rolled. That's how everybody's pronounced it for years. So might as well just keep rolling with it, I guess.
Yeah, I think there are quite a bit of Hollywood actors. There's one in particular that's escaping my mind right now that the media takes hold of it every day. You and me, we hear it once, we say it once, we read it on paper, and we kind of just go with it. But I mean, it's hard to mispronounce Tom Cruise, so
Yeah.
Paul Newman. But I believe it is Scorsese as opposed to Scorsese. But I'm sure we're gonna kind of go back and forth on it through this entire pod,
Yeah, it's fine. Not a
and,
big
and
deal.
we're two of his biggest fans. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yep, that's all I
My
got.
second movie, my second movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, released
Yes.
in 2013. It is honestly, it's a tight 3 hours, which is kind of interesting to say. I believe the original was 4 plus, and his great editor, which we will talk about later, Thelma Schoonmaker, cut it down to 3 hours based on the quote unquote biography of Jordan Belfort. Take that as you will. Also, we'll get into that later, but it was written by Terrence Winter, well, adapted screenplay by Terrence Winter based on the novel of Jordan Belfort's biography. Probably took some liberties, but as we mentioned, Terrence Winter also Boardwalk Empire, Get Rich or Die Trying. He also wrote 25 episodes of The Sopranos and was a
Yes.
prominent figure in the, I believe, Max show Vinyl, which Scorsese also helped Scorsese. Starring, for those who don't
It's all.
know,
It's
Leonardo
all.
DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, Margot Robbie, Matthew McConaughey makes a cameo, Kyle Chandler, John Bernthal, Rob Reiner. We go on and on. Maybe one of his best ensemble casts of all time.
Pretty damn close. Yeah.
And John Favreau, Ken Choi, Shea Wiggum, who is also in Boardwalk Empire, Thomas Middleditch, um, Bo Deedle, yada yada yada. I
Dude.
didn't write down. I didn't write down the name of the actor that plays one of the characters, but one of the funniest lines in this movie is, in my opinion, when they're being interrogated by the government and asking, "Oh, what kind of name is that?" And he says, "That is
That's
my
my
name. That is my name."
Thank you very much.
Doesn't say, "Oh no, it's Irish. It's German." That is my name,
Oh crap, dude. That's so fucking funny.
and we're definitely going to talk about it more later. I think, honestly, I think this is going to be one of our maybe most agreed upon drafts or
Oh, we'll,
rankings.
we'll see.
We'll
We'll
see
see.
later, but I think the top five are going to be pretty close between all of us, or between the
Yeah,
two of us, and we're going to talk about all these movies later. But I think that the bottom five are going to be a little bit of debate, a little bit of argumentative, but I think we're going to agree upon the top five pretty well. We'll see coming up soon.
we will.
This is the story, quote unquote, the story of the rise and fall of the notorious stockbroker Jordan Belfort, where he starts from humble beginnings and ends up in corruption, drugs, fraud, and eventual arrest by the federal government. Oscars nominated for lead actor for Leo, support for Jonah, directing for Scorsese, writing for Terrence Winter slash Jordan Belfort, and a nominee for Best Picture, and got 0 wins.
Yeah, which
Pretty astonishing. Honestly, pretty astonishing. RogerEbert.com had a review. Unfortunately, Roger had passed away at this time, so we didn't get his take on the movie, which is, sad, disappointing. The late, great Roger Ebert. But there is a writer for RogerEbert.com, Matt Zoller Seitz, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but he has kind of taken over the lead role of a lot of RogerEbert.com reviews. I agree with him a lot. He's got a different writing style with Roger, but I think their tastes in movies were pretty similar. He gave the movie a 3.5 out of 4 stars, saying, quote, abashed, shameless, exciting, exhausting, disgusting, and illuminating. One of the most entertaining films ever made about loathsome men.
Wow. Hmm.
I think that pretty much sums up the movie.
Yeah, it's not a bad review.
No, it's not terrible. And that's all I have for Wolf of Wall Street. Obviously, we're going to talk about that movie and others more when we continue. But Zach, give us your next movie.
Yeah, I got Mean Streets from 1973. The screenplay was by Martin Scorsese and Mardik Martin, who also wrote, or is it Mardik Martin? I guess doesn't matter. Who co-wrote Raging Bull as well. It stars Harvey Keitel, Robert De Niro, Amy Robinson, and David. I think it's Proval. But either way, I fucking hated his character Richie Aprile in The Sopranos. Just saying that. I just wrote that little note,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, DP also
Not a
had a
very
small
likable
role.
character.
No, it's yeah, I could fucking rant about that all day. But anyway, DP also had a little small role in Shawshank Redemption. You might have noticed him in the background, but I don't know. You're a pretty big
As
Shawshank fan, so I don't know if
I
you.
am, is he part of? Is he
Uh,
part of the Morgan
yeah,
Freeman gang?
yeah, he's got like a. He'll. I think it's only a couple sentences. You know, he doesn't have a huge role, but yeah, he's a part of their crew, I guess. But yeah, he's mostly in the background. But it's the story of a New York City neighborhood. A young bookie tries to find balance between ambition and his troublesome relationships. And Vincent Canby of the New York Times reflected that no matter how bleak, no matter how heartbreaking the narrative, some films are so thoroughly and beautifully realized that they have a kind of tonic effect that has no relation to the subject matter. That seemed to be
Hmm.
a yeah. Most people liked it.
Wow, that's
I mean, that was
yeah. It's
Scorsese's like
I
coming
mean, I
out.
think it's considered by a lot of movie critics as at least a top five movie of the '70s.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far, but well, I mean, it was for his first like I want to say studio movie. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I don't. It's kind of a fresh take. I mean, he's obviously inspired by a lot of different directors, but uh, yeah, I have it in my notes somewhere. Hopefully, when we talk about it in the pod, I'll probably talk about it a little bit more, but or not
Well,
the pod.
it's such a raw movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about it more. But yeah, I mean, his big breakthrough in Hollywood, right? His first film. It's very raw. The actors in it are. Well, we're gonna say yeah. We'll save it for the debate.
Yeah, yeah,
Next on my list, The Departed,
that's a good one.
coming out in 2006. Uh, I think Scorsese's second remake movie. A lot of people think it's his only remake movie from some of the research that I did, but I think Cape Fear came out first,
Yeah, that's true.
and that
Yeah,
was
I
definitely a
keep forgetting about
remake
yeah.
of an original movie. The remake of the 2002 Hong Kong release remake of Infernal Affairs, in which Roger Ebert gave 3 of 4 stars. It was written in part, segue here to Felix Chong, which wrote the original Infernal Affairs,
Mhm.
worked collaboratively with him in order to make the film, um, step by step with that movie, but also written by William Monahan, who did the screenplay, who also did Kingdom of Heaven, Body of Lies, Edge of Darkness, and a movie called Marlowe. It actually stars Liam Neeson, who plays Philip Marlowe. I've never heard of this movie, never seen this movie streaming anywhere, but it's notable if William Monahan wrote The Departed and is also collaborative with this film Marlowe. I'm definitely going to have to check this out. For those who are also Philip Marlowe fans, I think we've talked about at least one movie, The Long Goodbye, in an earlier pod. Pretty surprising. But moving on, the movie stars Leo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Alec Baldwin, Martin Sheen, Mark Wahlberg, Vera Farmiga, Anthony Anderson, Kevin Corrigan. We go on and on and on. Most notable, this is Martin Scorsese's first and only Oscar for Best Director.
Hmm. And I'd have to say that's probably his best ensemble cast.
Yep, I think it could go back and forth, but yeah, this is pretty great. For those who don't know, it's about an undercover cop and a mafia mole within the state police who each work separately to bring the other down without knowing their true identities.
Yeah,
It
I
won
love that movie.
4 different Oscars, including Best Motion Picture, Best Director, as previously stated, Best Editing by Thelma Schoonmaker, Best Writing of an Adapted Screenplay by William Monahan. Also, nomination for Best Supporting Actor of Mark Wahlberg,
Marky Mark.
who, those who have seen the movie, he is going 100 in this movie.
Well, I
Mark
mean, he's
Wahlberg
from
is
Boston, so yeah.
he is a comet in the sky in this movie. He comes in like a fury, and obviously we'll talk about it later. He plays a pivotal role. Roger Ebert gave this movie 4 out of 4 stars, saying tension, which is considerable in the movie, depends on human nature. What makes this a Scorsese film and not a retread of the previous movie, director's use of actors, locations, energy, and always its buried theme. As anybody who loves Martin Scorsese knows, that he has a very heartfelt connection with Catholicism, betrayal, guilt, and I think within almost every scene of this movie, those themes are present.
Well, didn't he also say this is the only movie that he's made that has a plot? I feel like I heard him say that somewhere. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know, but
I'm talking my ass out. I don't remember reading that in the review, but it's funny that you would say that because again, this isn't an original.
oh, sorry, dude. No, I meant Martin Scorsese said that about The Departed, not Raj, but
Oh yeah, then that would make sense.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's also one to note that when Scorsese took on this movie of a quote unquote retread or remake of a movie, he wasn't expecting much. He thought it'd be fun, kind of to do this crime thriller. He wanted Brad Pitt originally and Leonardo DiCaprio, and the casting what ifs of this movie are outrageous. Mel Gibson and the Alec Baldwin part.
yeah. I remember hearing that Dennis Leary and Mark Wahlberg's. I think. Yeah, I think.
Yep. And it's just a lot of what ifs. I think the movie would be very different had they casted some of these different actors. I'm
Yeah,
not saying it would be any better, any worse. It would just be a different movie,
different.
but
Yeah, totally, totally.
we'll definitely get into that later. I have a lot to say about the movie Departed.
Oh, hey, maybe we'll
Zach,
be in the same spot, so we won't have to talk about it too much. That's usually how it
well,
goes. But
I think we're going to talk about it regardless.
all right, dude. My next one is Raging Bull from 1980. It's based on Jake LaMotta's autobiography, and the screenplay is by Paul Schrader, who frequently collaborated with Scorsese, including the film I'm going to introduce next. But it's starring Robert De Niro again, Joe Pesci, and Kathy Marady, I think. You know, the first time I remember seeing her was Casper, the Ghost, that movie.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
It
she's
throws you
evil
off,
in that
dude.
movie.
It throws you off. But
Yeah, no kidding.
it's the story of middleweight champion Jake LaMotta, whose violent manner and temper made him a champion in the ring while destroying those closest to him outside the ring. Vincent Canby of the New York Times said that Scorsese has made his most ambitious film as well as his finest. I would, yeah, I personally think that's pretty accurate critique of
Well,
Raging Bull, but
definitely at the time
yeah,
in 1980. Yeah, Scorsese was just coming into his own. He'd only done a couple of movies by then. It's a tough watch.
It's a very depressing movie. Whenever I bring it up to Pop, he's
Yeah,
always like, "Yeah, I don't, I haven't seen that in a while. It's kind of depressing." So,
yeah, it is. It's not one that you just fire up on a Saturday night. And like, hey, I'm feeling good. I want a good movie to watch. I don't think Raging Bull is in the top 150 movies that you would classify that as.
well, I don't know, man. It depends on how high you are. Maybe you need to come down a little bit. So you pop
Yeah,
that
that's true.
movie.
Uh, interesting. No, it's all in black and white,
Yeah,
and
it's
actually adapted from Jake LaMotta's biography, and Jake LaMotta had a good hand in how they shot this movie and kind of what they covered in this movie. So it's interesting to note that he was so involved, and it kind of portrays him as just not a good person.
no, and he actually after when he saw De Niro portraying him and how he was kind of repulsed with the way he treated people, especially
Yeah,
those, like I said, closest to him. And then I know somebody asked his wife in real time, like, what did you think? I know, man, that's so, it was, he treated you so bad. Like, how'd you make it through the marriage? And she's like, well, it was actually worse than that. So it's like,
yeah,
fuck, man.
yeah. You can't show everything on a big Hollywood screen,
Yeah, yeah.
and even then, I mean that's so disheartening to hear, and maybe not surprising, because every movie is going to take liberties, but yet, like I said, there's only so much you can put on screen, and like I said, this is just a hard movie to watch. There's a lot of domestic violence, there's a lot of jealousy and rage, and we'll talk about it later
It's,
when we rank the movies. But
yeah.
yeah, Vicky Valancourt, uh, uh, my next movie, The Color of Money, released in 1986, adapted from the Walter Tevis novel, and written for the screen, the screenplay by Richard Price, who most notably wrote a majority of The Wire, one of Zach's favorite shows of all
Yes.
time,
Hmm.
one of the best shows of all time.
Yeah.
Also wrote Sea of Love, which was one of Al Pacino's most interesting roles.
I can't say
The
I've seen,
movie
I've never seen it.
Clockers.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach,
No.
you've never seen Sea of Love?
I have not,
We're gonna
bro. I'm
we're,
sorry.
we're gonna have to talk about this. We're gonna have to talk about this offline.
You just hang up on me.
Yeah, I'm done with the pod.
Fuck this.
Also wrote the movie Clockers. I've actually never seen this movie, but I've
Neither
told it
have I.
has quite the
Yeah.
impact on a lot of screenplay writers of the time. Richard Price also wrote the HBO limited series Night of, which I thought to be very compelling. I binged it all within a weekend. He also wrote Mad Dog Glory and the movie Ransom. Give me back my
Yeah.
son.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna, if you weren't gonna mention it, I was. Because but I shouldn't have
Uh,
even questioned you. I don't know what I was thinking. Go ahead, Jaaron.
this movie stars Tom Cruise, Paul Newman, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, which is, I think, the longest name of any Hollywood actor, actress of all time, who I love, by the way. We'll get into her when we rank this. It is about the loosely follow up to the movie The Hustler, featuring Fast Eddie Felson, hustler of billiards, happens upon a naturally gifted but yet immature Vincent and decides to take him under his wing and try to hustle the best billiard players in the U.S. at the time. It's terrible about. I ad libbed a lot of it.
Not bad, man. Not bad.
I
Not
mean,
bad.
it's just such an interesting. I think this is the only Scorsese sequel, quote unquote, that he did.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even characterized as a sequel. It's you know 20 plus years after the original. Fast Eddie Felson. I think Paul Newman does a good job of playing his original character, but obviously you're older, you're weathered, you're tired, you're down and out. Interesting to note, he had power of, I can't think of the word, but he was able to cancel this movie if they didn't cast the correct people for the characters, if they didn't have the correct
Like,
director.
yeah, he had carte blanche, kind of like he had
Yeah,
final version and everything, final cut, I guess. Even though he wasn't director,
Final
but yeah,
Cut. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's interesting to note Paul Newman was maybe the biggest Hollywood movie star of his time.
yeah,
A complete heartthrob, one of the best actors to ever be in Hollywood. And for him to kind of sign off on Tom Cruise as playing this young Vincent up and coming star who he's going to take under his wing,
it was a big
art
deal.
reflects life, life reflects art. Tom Cruise at the time was coming up, had a lot of big movies under his or in his repertoire, and was going to maybe be the next big quote unquote Paul Newman.
Yeah,
So
which I mean, he had
so for
quite.
Scorsese, yeah, for Scorsese to kind of cast Tom Cruise in this role is very interesting, and for Paul Newman to sign off on it, it's not only does it play for the movie, but it kind of plays in real life as well. Uh, Roger Ebert, very surprisingly, gave this movie a 2.5 stars out of 4,
Yeah,
saying it doesn't have the electricity, the wound up tension of Marty's best works, and as a result, I was too aware of the story that was marching by.
yeah, that kind of bothered Scorsese too. Kind of hurt his feelings that Ebert didn't really give it that much of a favorable review, I guess. But
Yeah, and because of what we kind of touched on earlier, these two are friends. They know each other personally. It would be tough to be a director in Hollywood and be this close of friends of one of, if not the most prominent film critics of the time and of the country, and then to release a movie and one of your good friends saying, "Meh, not that good."
that was a good
Uh,
delivery.
Roger also went on to kind of say, and this isn't verbatim, but because Scorsese takes so much pride in having original content and telling the story where his heart is in it and something he knows, life in New York, Catholicism, guilt, kind of the gangster lifestyle. He felt that him doing someone else's IP and kind of tagging on at the end of it was just kind of, so so. And
Yeah, yeah.
for me, it's one of my favorites. I know it's not beloved by a lot of Scorsese fans. I know you're not a huge fan of it, but it is also important to note Paul Newman won Best Actor at the Oscars of this
Finally,
year.
finally.
Right. And we're going to touch on that later when we talk about Departed, but this seemed like kind of a makeup Oscars.
Yeah, he should have won it. He probably should have won it for The Hustler, actually. But well, yeah, because
I
I
mean, you
can't
could
remember
probably
who won.
list 3 or 4 movies.
Oh, for sure. But he should have
Yeah,
won
kind
it
of
a
a
long time ago. Let's put it that way. Rest in peace,
yeah,
Paul.
kind of a makeup Oscars, which the Academy is known for doing time and time again, and it seems like even when they're trying to make up for their past mistakes, they still kind of miss.
Yeah, yeah.
Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio was nominated for actress in a supporting role. Screenplay, Richard Price, he was nominated in the Oscars for his screenplay and then the art direction. So it was kind of recognized by the Oscars, but it didn't really make a big splash, I don't think. Wasn't terrible or wasn't a great box office hit. Scorsese wasn't nominated. We'll get into all this later.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Zach, give us your last film.
All right. It is Taxi Driver from 1976, written by Paul Schrader again, as previously mentioned, who was kind of inspired by his own bouts of loneliness and depression at the time he wrote the script. And yeah, it's he was going through some shit back then. But it's starring Martin Scorsese. No, it's not. I mean, he's in the movie, but
He
it's
does. I was
starring.
going to say he does make a cameo though,
He does. He does. It's
as he does in
starring.
a lot of his early films.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Starring Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Peter Boyle, and with the young Jodie Foster and also a young Sybil
Yeah,
Shepherd. But it's about a Vietnam vet, Travis Bickle, fights his madness and insomnia by taking a job as a night shift taxi driver. During his time cruising the streets of New York City, he finds a beautiful political campaign advisor and an impressionable young prostitute, inevitably hoping to save them from themselves and his sanity. This is
who
from your
did you
boy
lift
Rod.
that intro from?
What's up? No, that was
That
me.
was a
Dude, I
great
wrote that
intro.
one. Not bad, huh?
That was good,
I wrote that one.
Zach.
You like
Yeah,
it? Nice. Yeah.
killed it. Yeah,
This is from your boy Roger, man. Taxi Driver is a hell. From the opening shot of a cab emerging from the cloud of steam to the climactic killing scene in which the camera finally looks straight down, Scorsese wanted to look away from Travis's rejection. We almost want to look away from his life, but he's there,
yeah.
all right, and he's suffering. Robert Roger. I put Robert Ebert. I seriously, yeah, it's Roger, of course,
Ro-
but
Robert Eger. Yeah,
Robert Eger.
great film critic. Yeah. Um,
That's his pen
and
name.
again, and again, it's important to note that among film critics, this is maybe the best movie of the '70s. And then he would go on to do maybe the best movie of the '80s with Raging Bull, who you introduced or what you introduced earlier, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe the best movie of the '90s with
Right.
Goodfellas.
Well,
So
that's my
just
some
it's
people's opinion.
astounding, and that's going to segue because I did mention the movie into my last pick, Goodfellas,
Yes.
uh, released released in 1990, starring again Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Lorraine Bracco, Paul Sorvino, Frank Vincent, with cameos from Sam Jackson, and maybe not an all-star ensemble cast, but wow, like looking back at 1990 and who he was able to cast in this movie, and who became Paul Sorvino,
Yep.
who became great actors after this. It's incredible. Michael Corrigan, again and again and again, by Nicholas Pileggi. I'm glad we both pronounced his name correctly in this pod, because I think a lot of people say Pileggi, which is incorrect. Based on the novel that Nicholas Pileggi wrote called Wise Guys, and then I think Scorsese had a hand in writing some of this too, with kind of some of the dialogue and the screenplay
Yeah.
associated with it. Nominated for several Oscars: Best Picture, Best Director, Writing, Editing, Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Lorraine Bracco, and the only winner of said Oscars, Joe Pesci, for Supporting Actor. Roger Ebert, not surprisingly, gave this film 4 out of 4 stars. Scorsese shares his enthusiasm for the material, headlong momentum of a storyteller who knows he has a good one. Honestly, I could maybe recite the entire Roger Ebert review of this movie. He just fawns over Scorsese,
Shit, man.
and this movie,
How can you not with
yeah,
this
in this movie, it's one of his longest reviews, and you can kind of feel Roger holding himself back a little bit because he is good friends with Marty at this time, and he's trying to review a movie candidly. But yeah, he puts it up there with Godfather 2. He says it's the one of the best mafia gangster movies written, right there along with Godfather 2, and then right after, doesn't walk it back, but says, I'm not putting this movie on the same pedestal as Godfather 2, but it is important to mention that for the time that it was released, this is on par with Godfather 2.
Yeah.
Maybe my favorite movie of all time. We're going to talk about that here soon,
Yeah.
but
It's an important movie for
yeah,
us, not just you, not just
yeah,
me. Us. Yeah.
We're going to dive into that here soon. For our first time listeners, now that we have introduced our 10 movies, Zach and I are going to finally reveal our own rankings, and we're going to argue, discuss, and debate where they should land on our final rankings. We normally start with number 10 and number 9. And Zach, I'm going to give you the honors. What did you have at number 10?
You may be able to predict what I have at 10. It's Color of Money. Now,
I knew you were
yeah,
going to say that.
but here's I kind of made the mistake of watching The Hustler not that long ago, and The Hustler's fucking phenomenal, dude. Like
You
it's
can't do that. It's not
well, I
part of
mean,
the
shit.
rankings.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's just a superior movie, you know. So it's like,
It is.
I mean, and between me being a much bigger fan of The Hustler and then watching this, and it's like I don't know if it's Scorsese's style doesn't it just doesn't fit with the Eddie Felson like storyline.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, you'll I don't know where you had it, but in the end, my argument was, well, if I think it's in the back and Roger thinks it should be in the back, then it probably should be number 10.
I mean, it comes down to, is Paul Newman at the younger years in The Hustler equal to Tom Cruise? And then is Paul Newman at his older stage in life equal to Jackie Gleason? I think we could both agree that that's not accurate.
No, I mean, yeah, I guess I don't
It,
know
it,
what
it's I mean, it's a completely different movie.
it's not, but I mean, yeah, it's made completely different, but it's still a sequel. I mean, you don't have to, not everything's, the sequels don't have to be obviously identical to the first, but like, yeah, yeah,
That's
I
true.
mean, you're right. It's different, but it's still, yeah. But where did you have it?
Uh, I had Color Money at 9.
Oh, okay, because I
So
mean
so
straight
it's
to
not too
nine.
far off. Yeah, I recognize that because it's one of my personal favorites. I've seen it, God, probably upwards of 20 or 30 times. I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise in his early years. The werewolf in London scene is mesmerizing. I mean, we could say this about every Scorsese movie, but his camera work is unlike anybody else's. The way he
Yeah,
pans
for
around a
sure.
room, the way he can go from an open wide shot and then zoom in on something while, or zoom in on a person while they're delivering kind of an important line.
Yeah,
And then, I mean, the last shot of the movie, or the last scene of the movie, kind of the last two shots, they're in a room filled with mirrors, and he goes all the way around the room, and you don't see the fucking camera one time.
yeah. But Orson
Ha-
Welles used
ha-
to do that stuff. And friggin'
Again, the werewolf from London scene, the timing with the music, Tom Cruise singing, his dancing, and he actually learned to play billiards like this. He learned to play pool. So every
it,
shot that you see Tom Cruise make in this movie, he actually made those shots.
yeah. I mean,
And in
dude,
real time, Marty's going around a table and Tom is making 4, 5, 6 shots in a row as he's singing, as he's, you know, dancing and throwing his cue around. I enjoy the movie. I understand on the list that we have for the 10 movies, it's not going to be very high up on a lot of people's lists, but I think it's an underrated movie for those who have not seen the movie. Please go out there. I think it's a sport movie.
yeah, I would call it a
I think
sports movie too.
I think
Yeah,
it's a sports movie. I consider billiards a sport.
yeah. Yeah. It's what did you have at nine?
On Okay, so I actually had Color Money at 9. So we're not too far off there. I understand. I personally love the movie. I don't think it's one of his best movies. Obviously, Roger didn't think it's one of his best movies. I had The Irishman at 10, which I know you're going to kind of chastise me for.
No, not really, because my preliminary list I had it all the way at four, but and
Wow.
then my final ranking I just like didn't move it for some reason. Like I was like, dude, I mean it's a 3.5 hour movie, but it
Wow.
flies. I mean, it's got great performances. It's a great script. I mean, it's kind of his last. It's kind of his gangster opus, I guess you can say. It's just I don't
Yeah,
know. It felt right there, and it's like I said, incredibly entertaining, and it's
it's
debatable
bringing back Robert De Niro.
how
It's bringing
accurate.
back Joe Pesci.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's
exactly.
bringing back all these older quote unquote actors that he'd cast in movies for the last 30, 40 years. It is kind of his opus. Admittedly, I've only seen it, I think, 3 times. When it first came out, I watched it right away. I thought, wow,
Yeah,
incredible
and
movie.
that's the thing is I think I saw it for the first time, obviously around the same time you did, but we had different opinions of us. I was like, I sent you a text. I was like, really? Like I was because I mean, this is
Yeah,
the big
you were
three. You
not
got
plus.
no, I mean, to me, this is the big three. You know, you got Scorsese directing. Look at this freaking amazing cast, and then you had Steve Zalian writing it. Like to me, that's a fucking slam dunk. I think I just hyped it up a little much, maybe
Yeah,
because I mean he hadn't worked with De Niro in years, like you said. The next time I watched, it, I was like, I just obviously all the way through. I think I was actually sober the second time around, so I was like, oh yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. This is a good movie.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
and
no, go
there
ahead,
have
bro.
been wiser, smarter, and more critically acclaimed critics than us that it wasn't really well received. The Academy, I think, brushed it off. I think the majority of I don't think it's one of Netflix's higher viewed movies,
No,
and the higher critically acclaimed critics have said, in 10, 20 years, people might consider this Scorsese's best movie ever.
yeah,
I think that, and I don't want to say the downfall of the movie because you and I are the same. Why are we going to make a movie shorter, right? If it's good, if it's compelling, if it's entertaining, why do I want less of that, right?
right,
But
right,
it is 3+ hours long. It's a You have to make a decision. Hey, I'm going to watch The Irishman,
yeah. Hmm.
and I think that's kind of to its detriment.
You got to make that
I
commitment.
will say for listeners and for you, I actually have it playing in the background right now with the sound off.
Nice.
Uh,
I got Goodfellas playing.
and honestly, I think Al Pacino kind of steals the film.
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah,
You, you
his
know,
I like his
it's
performance
a
out of everybody's. Yeah,
yeah, it's a reunion of Scorsese and De Niro and Pesci and Al
tell.
Pacino.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's.
his
I mean,
performance. It's maybe a little over the top, but it's entertaining as hell. And we neither of us were alive during Jimmy Hoffa's reign, but from what I've seen and clips, and I think it's pretty accurate on
he
how
was
he
pretty
was
brash.
as a man.
Yeah, loud and freaking yeah.
Solidarity,
So-
solidarity, solidarity.
well,
Okay, so you had it at 4. I had it sadly at 10.
yeah.
Where are you willing to come down? Because I'll agree with you on anything. I should have ranked it higher. It's my own personal
Oh, let's.
effects of a couple of other movies. So
I mean,
I
yeah,
get it. It's probably a better. It's a better made movie. It's a better scripted movie. It's more entertaining. And plus it's is it based on real events?
that's.
Who's right?
I kind of mentioned that a little bit ago that it's loosely, and the term I have to emphasize loosely based on a true story because most of the people like Joe Gallo and even Jimmy Hoffa, like the FBI, never considered Frank Sharon a person of interest for most of the kills
Right,
that he claimed that he did in the book. So
right. Him elaborating a little bit. It's a
yeah,
hell
for
of a
sure.
story.
Maybe yeah, yeah. Let's.
We still haven't found the body. The body's still out there somewhere,
It
or
is
even gone now. But okay, so I think we're going to both agree. We're going to put Color of Money at 10.
okay.
What did you have at 9?
I had Mean Streets at 9.
Wow.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
wrote down the main reason I even put it on the list was because I remember back when I first saw Mean Streets and Taxi Driver, I thought Mean Streets was the better movie. So I like naturally I was like,
Hmm.
well, shit, if I got Taxi Driver on the list, I got to put Mean Streets, and I think it's a better movie. But like watching it this last go around for the pod, I was still good, obviously, and like we said earlier, it's Scorsese's coming out movie, but like
Yep.
I don't know, it's just fucking
It was his, it was his first
yeah,
breakthrough.
yeah, I mean, Robert De Niro pisses me off. He's fucking douchebag in that movie. Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of you. He still uses the same techniques and some styles from that movie, even for his movies today. But it's yeah,
I mean, obviously, what Mean Street was 73. So he's
yeah,
still kind of developing his own style. He's still trying to find his groove. It, I think it shocked a lot of people when it came out. And again, I'm 37 years old.
yeah,
I'm born in 88. So born 15 years after this movie was even released. Who am I to say it shocked people? But I think it kind of like, wow, I didn't know a movie could be this raw. It could be this.
yeah. No, you're right. You're
You
right.
Honestly, I was gonna say could be this mean, and not to
Pun.
put a pun on it, but
Yeah, not
I mean it's.
a-
And I think you and I, we didn't grow up, but when we came into our own for cinema and when we started to love movies and films for what they are instead of what we loved when we were 10, 11, 12, 13, we're
yeah.
used to seeing Robert De Niro as the badass.
Mm. No, you're right.
I still, every time I see Robert De Niro, I see Jamie Conway.
Yeah.
So for us, I rewatched Mean Streets for this pod as well, and I felt the same thing as you. I'm like, God, this guy is annoying. He's like, Harvey, just pistol whip this kid. Put him in line,
Yeah, dude.
and
It's
yeah.
irritating. Yeah.
But it's also important to mention and note that this kind of was Scorsese's breakout. And
Hmm.
also, De Niro had done a few things before this. Harvey Keitel was known, but I think this was kind of the one that brought them all out and say, "Hey, we've arrived, and we're gonna do some more shit in the future."
Yeah.
I'm very surprised to hear that you had it at 9. I think I ranked it where I did because I thought you would have it a little higher.
Yeah. My prelim had it pretty damn high, dude. But then, like I said, after watching it and then like because stacking the rest of the movies up, I'm just like I kept putting movies ahead of it.
Yeah,
I mean, shit. Because
I mean
I'm
we're ranking Marty Scorsese movies. Like,
yeah. I agree with you. The Irishman, I was yeah, that could go farther back, but yeah, I don't. I'm not really sure. Where did you have it?
well, and for listeners who aren't familiar with us because we haven't released a pod yet at this time, we kind of always go through Zach and I kind of always go through a couple of different rankings, and we mention it on the pods. Hey, I had the first ranking this, and then I revised it, and then this and that. I think so far this is the most revised rankings I've done. I have 7 different rankings. I mean, I'm so torn. Martin Scorsese is my favorite actor. I love all of his movies. I'd like to say I love all of them equally. This was tough. Like,
Yeah, it wasn't easy,
you
dude.
know, yeah, my first rankings, I kind of just looked at the movies and didn't even kind of think about it. Just first instinct. This is where I had this. This is where I had this. I had Mean Streets way down at 8 originally, and then I kind of moved it up at 5, and then I kind of went back at 6, and then 7. I, I hate Robert De Niro in it, and he's maybe my favorite actor. So for me to rewatch it and just like, man, I don't want to say annoying. I don't know if you use that word, but I finally ranked it at 7.
Okay.
And I think I was being a little kind because I thought you would have it a little higher. So
No, that's
if
yeah, that's fine.
If
Well,
if we each had it at 6 or 7, I didn't think there'd be too much debate, and we kind of agree on one.
how about
I'm
this?
okay with it. I'm okay with it being 9. If you're okay with Color of Money being 8,
No. I was just gonna say what I
no,
figured
I'm
we could
joking.
do is have Color of Money at 10, The
Yes,
Irishman at 9, Mean Streets at 8, because that would split the difference between your 7 and
yeah,
me having Mean Streets at 9, you having it at 7. Let's put it at 8, and we'll put
yeah.
Irishman at
Wait,
9.
this is what we do. Then that's surprising that you're going to come down from 4 to 9 with Irishman. And again, I think time is going to tell a different story about the Irishman. I think
Yeah,
you nailed everything about the movie. It is his opus. We're bringing everybody back. It's such a sprawling movie, and it covers so much. And is it accurate or not? Who's to say? It is entertaining as hell.
yeah, for sure.
Is it Goodfellas?
No.
No,
No, no.
it's not. But it's also important to talk about the fact that his de aging.
Yeah, I always I wrote that in my notes too, where it's like Scorsese obviously has a certain style, and you see it when you're watching it. You can tell that it's a Scorsese movie, but almost every movie he tries to do something different, and I consider
Do
this
something.
like
Yep.
his avatar. Like he brought special
Oh,
effects. Like he freaking did. He made freaking obviously made Robert De Niro and Al Pacino put a bunch of fucking dots on their face so they looked
right.
younger. I mean, you know what I mean? So that was his like I said, his avatar, I guess, his Benjamin Button,
What
whatever you want to call it.
what
But
a fantastic comp.
nice, thanks,
Now
dude.
that's
Let's clip that.
yeah. I had never no, but you're absolutely correct. This is his avatar. This is his James Cameron
Yeah.
avatar.
Hmm.
He's going out because you and I both know, listeners all know, if you're Martin Scorsese fan, it's realism. It's
Yeah.
practical effects over special effects every single time. This time he's going out on a limb. He's saying, "Hey, I'm going to change with the times. I understand where this is going. Special effects, okay, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to de-age my favorite, maybe not his
Operator.
favorite. I don't
Yeah.
know Martin
One of
Scorsese.
his two.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I'm going to bring Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci in, and I'm going to make them look 30 years younger.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know that was on the spectrum of what you could do with filmmaking when it came out. And I remember reading the first couple articles. Hey, Scorsese's going to do Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, and they're going to play like 30 and 40-year-olds. What? Like, how are they going to do that? This was a technology that I wasn't even aware existed. And I think the biggest downfall is, yes, you can de-age someone's face, and it looks pretty realistic. I'll give them that. But their body, their movements,
Yeah, you can even tell in the movie where he after the shop owner yells at his daughter and he like
right,
breaks his hand, he's barely freaking moving, dude. He can because I
right,
mean, like I said, he's 80 years old at the time. It's like,
yeah,
and I think there was a scene where it was the Hoffa family in their living room. They were watching something about the Kennedys, and Scorsese
yep,
kept telling Al, "Was like, dude, you got to get up quicker. Remember, you're 45." And he's like, "I can't
right.
get up any faster than that. I'm
You got to
fucking
be a little spry
78."
here, Al. You're excited that JFK has been killed, which in and of its own self is,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know how Al Pacino feels about that, but you're playing a man who has been hoping for this to happen, and then it happens, you pop up out of your seat,
yeah, yeah,
right? You're excited about it, and yeah. So I mean, that would be the only, I don't want to say a mark on it, but the
no,
faces look phenomenal. Honestly, yeah. Robert De Niro's eyes are changed a little bit. You kind of tell about that, but their
yeah,
faces look great. But the way they're moving, kind of slower. Their bodies are a little different. He nailed the de aging in the face, but I mean, there's more to work on, and I'm
yeah,
sure Scorsese might even come out a couple years from now and say, "Hey, we're gonna do it again."
yeah. Well, because I mean, I remember people bitching about the de aging, saying that it looked like shit. When I watched, I was like, I mean, I don't know what. I mean, it looks as good as it's gonna get, I guess. I don't know
Right.
what else.
What do you
Yeah,
expect?
yeah,
Right. I mean, you look at De Niro in Raging Bull. He doesn't look like De Niro.
yeah. Oh
Um.
shit!
Okay. So number 7. Actually, wait. Let me ask you. What did you have at 8?
I had Wolf of Wall Street, and here's what I wrote down.
Whoa!
Yeah, but because in the end,
Whoa!
I mean, I got hands down. It's his funniest movie, without a doubt. It fucking makes. I was tempted to put it on
Yes.
our comedies list, dude. That's how freaking funny I find it. But it's also basically just a movie about people partying and spending money. I mean, that's all it is. And that's why I was like, oh, great. It's just the same shit. He's doing drugs. He's high. Like, I guess I know, which what I'm saying is like, I'm sure that's how Jordan Belfort lived, but again, it's like
Yep.
not the deepest movie in his filmography. But dude, I think it's hilarious. I still, dude,
It.
even just thinking about this, when they're talking about throwing the midgets, and I think most of that
Uh,
scene was improv, but he was just like, what I know is that you can't look them in the eye, and then that guy's like, I saw that on PBS. That's a fact. It's a
yeah.
fact.
These things. They get together. They talk. And, and Leo's like, "This is why I love you because you think of shit like this."
Well, and then that guy's he's like, "See, you're talking to me, but you're actually I think you're talking to me, but you're actually
I'm
not."
looking at your forehead. Yeah, I'm looking at your forehead right here. And I think the workaround is you don't classify them as people; they're acts. So I mean, look at the Ringling Brothers, or that's not what he says, but it's the other acts. And if you research it, it's like whatever he mentions. I can't remember now, but there were multiple people who died in their acts. So like he is kind of onto something because the casinos weren't sued by that because it's like, hey, this is an act and they
Yeah,
could
right.
possibly die. But I'm yeah, no, the
That's what.
dwarf tossing, not midget. Let's be PC here.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the first fucking scene.
yeah. I
You
know, I
see you
know.
see Leo throwing a dwarf and you're like, what the fuck is going on in this movie?
Then it's a freeze
But
frame, like midair.
yeah, and he's like got his hands out. He's like, my name's Jordan Belfort. Like
Yeah, it's very entertaining. Not, it's
it's
obviously
the
a well-made movie, good performances, funny as hell. But I just when it came to the ranking, you got all these great movies. I think the movies I put ahead of it are better. Just like I said,
right.
this whole
No, it's
fucking
tough.
plot is based on opinions, so that's where I had it. I had it at 8.
Well, and again, we already touched on it. Same thing could kind of be said about The Irishman. It's based on one person's account of all of these things that happen in life. Did it really happen? Okay, this is his perspective of that happening. Are you going to embellish a little bit? Sure. Are you going to kind of elaborate a little bit? Sure. Are you going to,
Yeah,
but you nailed it on the head. This is his funniest movie.
dude,
His funniest. I mean,
we're laughing just thinking
you
about
watch
it.
any of the other you watch any of the other movies on the list, and maybe you and I are a little different because we quote Goodfellas enough. We have a ton of one-liners that we're gonna laugh our asses off at.
Oh god, dude.
It's okay. I had it ranked much higher, and I'm sure you're gonna lambaste me for where I put it. Um, I had it at 2.
Jesus, get the fuck out of
I
here,
know.
dude.
I
That's
it's so fucking
ridiculous,
entertaining.
dude.
It's so entertaining, and it's maybe Leo's I don't want to say maybe his best performance because I'm going to
No,
put that later, but I
yeah,
think he's just having fun. I mean, everybody is having fun,
yeah. I don't doubt that one. But fuck,
and
man,
it's
two.
it's the I know, and the timeline. Like I love the cognitive dissonance that you're experiencing when you're watching the movie, and a particular scene that I wanted to make sure I pointed out, and we can move on after this, but when he's on the lewds. I have it written down in my notes somewhere in my many pages. The lewds that are going to have kind of a lapsed effect where they kick in later. You know, him and Donnie are trying everything. They're in the weight route um, workout room, and he's at his golf club or wherever he is, and Bo Deedle calls him. You know, he says, "Get the fuck off the phone, Jordy." And he's when he's crawling to the steps to his Lambo, and you
Yeah.
see several times they cut, you know, to the third camera, and it's maybe 6 or 7 steps,
And then
and
it,
then they
yeah.
cut to him, and it's 30 fucking steps.
Can you believe it?
I mean,
Not
it's
a
think
fucking scratch. And then he
yeah,
walks up.
yeah, exactly. Like it's such terrific filmmaking where, and I think a lot of people kind of, you know, dissed it in this regard. Well, you know, he has one cut like this, and then there's another shot right after where it doesn't line up. That's the point. This is being told from a perspective of a drug addict who is recounting all of the things he did. And in his mind, I'm sure it was 30 steps. And
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Leo goes down, or the stuntman goes down, like he does a full somersault and then rolls over and then hits the ground. It's like, well, there were only 6 steps there. How is that even possible? And I remember one of my friends I watched it with was like, "Whoa, that's not accurate. They fucked that up, you know." And I looked at him like, for one, Thelma Schoonmaker doesn't fuck up.
yeah. Dude.
You know, she cut this movie the way it's supposed to be cut. I mean, it's so
But
funny,
you know what?
and it's
Okay, you've it's not two, but I'm okay with it being
it's
at
not two.
four
It's not
now.
two.
I'm okay with it being at
It's not
four.
two.
You
Well,
can put it in the
wh-
Irishman spot if you want.
when you said 8, I was willing to go to 5.
No, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I said, you kind of talked me into because, like we already said, we. I mean, we've already repeated ourselves too much when it comes to how
I know,
funny we think this movie is. So,
and
but
I
like,
said this before we even started recording that I'm going to try to be succinct, and we're going to get through this in 90 minutes. We're already
it's hard, man. It's
pushing that
fucking
right
hard.
now. Well, I mean, even the first scene where Margot Robbie's going down on him in the Ferrari, and then he changes the color. Like that's Scorsese just doing shit. We're like, hey, I still got it. I'm gonna change the color of this Ferrari as this voiceover is happening to say, no, 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 my Ferrari wasn't red. It was white, like in
Yeah,
Miami Vice. And then they
yeah.
just change it real quick. The first scene is just like, boom, we're in this life with this fucking egomaniac who thinks he's, you know, the king of the world. And it again, it's probably
Hey, nice
elaborating a lot.
Titanic pun.
But
Good. I like that.
yeah. Okay. I'm willing to put it at 5. If you want it at 4, I'm not going to argue.
No, you talked me into it, dude. Because like, yeah, you talked me into it. Put
Okay.
it there, man.
Wolf at 4. All right. To recap real quick, we got 4 movies on the board. Color Money at 10. Irishman at 9. Mean Streets at 8. Wolf of Wall Street at 4. I actually had Casino at 7.
I had Casino at 6. What did you have at
Okay.
6? Was it After Hours?
Well, again, I have 7 iterations, but yes. Because I had Mean Streets at 6 at one point, brought it down. And again, personal preference. I love the movie After Hours. I think it's very underrated.
No, it's a gem. It's a
It
gem.
it's definitely a comedy. It's a very black comedy. It's dark. There's one scene in particular that I had forgotten about. Rosanna Arquette had just died. He calls the cops. You know, Griffin Dunn. He's like, "What in the world is going on here? She's dead. Roommate's gone. I've called the cops, but I want to get home. I need to get back to this bar." And he calls the cops. The 911 operator, "Well, sir, you need to stay there. We're to send people." He puts up 3 signs that says dead person with an arrow.
I remember
Like,
when I first saw the movie, dude. I was gonna ask like, is it meant to be a dream sequence or reality? Because if it's a dream sequence, it's awesome. If it's based on reality, I'm not buying it. Like that was my pros and cons. Like I understand that coincidences happen and shit like that, but for that many in like an 8 hour
Oh,
period is like, and obviously I liked it, but I also thought to myself, it's not very realistic, I guess, which I understand.
you
It's
don't think it's
like you said, it's a
plausible,
comedy, but still,
right? Well, again, it's a one night movie, right? And it's Occam's razor. Anything that can happen will happen, and this
yeah,
guy just happens to experience it all in one night. And I think that's entertaining as hell. That's something that Scorsese had never done and hasn't done since.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Where did you have it, or did you say and I just missed it?
I first had it at 4, brought it down to 5, went all the way down to 8 at one point. 7 is where I no
That's
Casino.
where.
I had at 7. After hours, I had at 6.
Okay, because I have Casino at 6. You can swap them if you want. Even though, I mean, Casino, I found myself just basically writing notes in a way to make this film like inferior to Goodfellas, which means it's a pretty fucking good
Well,
movie, dude. Like I said, I even wrote down it could be
well,
even higher on my list actually than it is at 6.
well. I think it's important for us to spend a little bit of time on Casino because I think at the time that it came out, people saw Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci.
Triple G, yeah,
It's gonna be Goodfellas.
a rehash.
This movie is not Goodfellas.
No, no,
This movie is not Goodfellas. In my opinion, I love Sharon Stone. Basic Instinct is one of my personal favorite movies of all time. The amount of time they spend with Sharon Stone and Robert De Niro just brings the movie down, in my opinion.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
It,
yeah,
and we're used to seeing, we just went over it, Mean Streets, Robert De Niro. I'm like, gosh, dang, looking back on it kind of sucks. He's not the De Niro I know, and all these other movies I love, and he's kind of a cuck in this movie.
kind of an idiot. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's
Like,
not. Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's a weak. I mean, James Woods keeps getting Sharon Stone to come back to him, and instead of going and punching him in the face or kicking him like De Niro does so well, he's one of the best kickers of
Hmm.
people.
He's
He just
almost
has three
strategically good.
guys, and I mean, Pesci even kind of sums it up in the movie. Where he's like, "You're wearing a pink robe. You got a fucking cigarette holder.
What are you
Like, who the
fucking
fuck
Chuck
are you?
Barrymore?
You John Barrymore?" Like,
Fucking cigarette holder? Like what
and
the
it's I know, and after watching Goodfellas and seeing Jimmy Conway as like evil incarnate,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
he's always plotting to kill everybody, even people in his close circle. And then you see Casino, and like so many other people, I thought, oh, this is going to be like Goodfellas too, right? The same actors, gangsters, Casey mobs kind of dipped in, but now they're in Vegas. I'm thinking Robert De Niro is just going to be this cutthroat killer, and that's not his character at all. And
No.
should that take away from the movie? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean
But in my mind,
I still found everything you're saying is true, but I still it's not nearly as I couldn't decide between Casino at 5 or The Departed at 5. So I just kind of I gave The Departed the tiebreaker because of Marty's Best Director Oscar, but we'll get
I
into
know,
that one later.
and we're
But
going to talk about that here soon.
yeah, but it's just yeah, I don't know.
I think it's excuse me, it's a lesser movie to Goodfellas, and I know it's not fair to compare the two because they're different movies,
Yeah, because
right?
the way you were describing De Niro and Pesci, and especially, I mean, Stone hadn't worked with uh, Scorsese yet. This was obviously their first and only collaboration. But from an actor standpoint, it's like it makes more sense to do that. Like he was Jimmy Conway, and like you said, we always saw him as Jimmy, and then in this movie, he's kind of
He's
he's not
Maury.
he's not weak, obviously, but yeah, he's
He,
just
he, he's
yeah,
Maury.
yeah.
and,
Yeah,
and is that fair? Is that fair to judge the movie based upon that, you know, criteria? Probably not. But you know, Casino may be the third or fourth movie I've watched the most of Scorsese, just because I do enjoy it. I love going on that ride with the characters. Joe Pesci stabbing that guy with a pen in his neck like 17 times,
yeah.
maybe more
Here, little
visceral.
girl. Here, little girl, Frankie.
Well,
Call my friend a
it,
fucking stick it up
and
his
then
ass.
kicks him a few times, and it's like, whoa, that. I mean, that was even more violent than you know bats.
Bats. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah,
You know, and I do love the fact that Frank Vincent and Pesci were together in Raging Bull, and then together here or Goodfellas, and Pesci beats the shit out of Frank Vincent in both those. Well, kills
yeah,
him
he
in one,
does.
and then in this movie,
Frank
Casino,
Vincent
he
gets his.
finally gets his
Gets his
revenge. Like he has Joe Pesci out in a cornfield with an aluminum bat, and he's beating his skull in. Okay, well, after that short conversation, I'm going to go ahead and say we should put Casino at 6, After Hours at 7.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm probably going to have to watch Casino again.
As soon as you get off, freaking watch
Yeah,
Casino.
seriously. Okay, we're going to keep it succinct. We're going to try. We're on our top three. Obviously, we're not going to
Actually,
completely agree because I had Wolf at 2, but well, okay, we're not going to go over this, or we're not going to harp on it too long. But since we agreed Wolf is at 4, Departed at 5.
yeah. That's. I mean, I had it there originally anyway. Is that where
Yeah,
you had it?
I had it 4, so it's not too far off. But again, quote unquote remake. We kind of talked about it in the intros. Probably a little too long. Not something that Scorsese thought was going to be a hit or he was going to be recognized. A total makeup Oscar award, which is sad. I mean, maybe Al Pacino for Son of the Woman is the worst example of a makeup Oscar. This is
Yeah.
probably the second.
The what I the analogy I use that turned out to not be a very good analogy because I was in Iraq when this movie came out, so I had to watch the pirated version. But I said if you were going to compare Scorsese's movies to like pop songs, The Departed would be his number one all time hit. But since it was a successful domestic, it was very very profitable in the U.S. That that
It was.
analogy kind of sucks now. So, but whatever. I tried. God damn it.
I'd be very interested to watch the parted version of this movie. Was it different? Like, were there different scenes, or did you just
Oh fuck no! It
watch it
was all. It
illegally?
just a dude had a camera in the movie theater. So yeah,
Oh,
that's all it was. Yeah, the pirated version was just some dude sitting in the movie theater with his shitty fucking slider phone recording it, and then Haji fucking burned a bunch of disc, and I watched it. So
I
it,
mean,
it wasn't a great way
it's
to
it's
watch it
flawed.
for the first time.
It's
But
flawed in so many ways, right? I mean,
yeah,
I think we can both agree on that. But damn, there are a lot of fucking entertaining scenes in this.
dude, I think the fucking writing is great, especially the opening fucking the
Yes.
opening sentence. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. And that I think it
Yep.
just sucks you in right there, which is what Scorsese's great at. Nothing beats a
And
great
then it's
opening sequence, and that fucking
and
all
he's one of the
16 minutes
he's one of the
before.
best at it.
Yeah, all 16 minutes before you find out what the movie's actually called. Freaking
Yeah,
yeah, 'cause
I clocked it in at 18, but
oh, it's
I might
18.
be
Okay,
off.
yeah, shit, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the first time I saw it, like I forgot that there was no title sequence. Like
Yeah, yeah,
After
you're right.
18 minutes, you're like, oh, he's just not even going to do it. Or it wasn't even in my mind where it's like, oh, he's just not even going to introduce it. And then, you
Yeah.
know, it, which is great because when they introduce the title, when The Departed finally comes on, they've established the two main characters. They've gone through Matt Damon's childhood and how he's going to be a mole for Jack's character, and then they've established Leo is in the Stades, and he's you know not great. Mark Wahlberg, you're not a fucking cop. The whole sequence, it's like,
Yeah.
damn. That, looking back on it, that is the perfect time to kind of introduce the
Yeah.
movie, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Just real quick, I have to ask you a couple of questions. Is this Leonardo DiCaprio's best performance?
No. His most of his best
What is?
performances were in his younger days, like Basketball Diaries or like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, where he actually had to act.
Oh,
Most of
whoa.
his Scorsese performances are just kind of I don't know. I mean, maybe Catch Me If You Can. He's got a pretty good performance in that one, I guess.
No. Okay. Wholeheartedly disagree with you on that. I obviously rewatched this movie for the pod. In almost every scene, he's looking like he's going to have a panic attack at any moment in all the scenes. I mean, he's trying to be charismatic. Jack sits next to him. Do you know who I am? No, no. It- but you could tell, like, underneath the surface, there's something boiling. Like he's gonna snap at any moment, like he does with cranberry juice. What is it? Your period?
Yeah.
I
Actually,
think.
shit. Well, you talking about it got me rethinking my choice. It's probably Django. Actually, that's probably his best performance. But I mean,
Ooh,
his performance in this one's fine. But I mean, I don't. It doesn't stand out to me. I guess is what I'm saying as
I,
far as a
I just think
performance goes.
I just think he's doing so much, and he's being charismatic, he's being likable, he's also being nervy, he's paranoid, he's. I mean, it takes a lot for an actor to, I don't know, to give that, like. Okay, well, again, I said we weren't going to spend too much time on it. I think it's one of his best, if not his best performance, just because he's so cagey and so ready to explode at any point. And even Vera Farmiga says it in the movie, like, your vulnerability is really freaking me out. Is it real? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Like again, not a bad performance, dude.
Okay, moving on. As I said, we were going to be succinct. We have Depart at 5, Wolf at 4. Give me your number 3.
I got Taxi Driver at 3.
Yeah. See, this is what I said at the beginning. I think our top 5 were going to be close, but
Yeah.
I think our. Yeah. I mean, Travis Bickle.
You talking to me? I mean, come on, that's all you got
Right?
to say. It was
I'm like,
it
yeah,
was
we're on a pod together. Of course I'm talking to you. Who else am I talking to right now?
oh, oh, oh.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's again, it's not my favorite Scorsese film, but yeah, it's like I said, I this go around, it's obviously better than Mean Streets, and I know he had
yep.
inspiration from other filmmakers, but this you see greatness in this movie, obviously, and then you,
And he's so innocent. And then later in the movie, you see his absolute rage. And,
yeah,
and
it's a good
you,
transformation. Yeah,
yeah, you see it throughout this movie. And I don't think I had rewatched it in 5 or 10 years, at least.
yeah,
And then
dude,
for
it'd been
this,
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, he's almost. cordial in the first scene when he's asking for a job. Like, yeah, I stay up nights, and I just want to, I just need a job at night. And he's talking to the boss, and he's just friendly, and just like, oh yeah, he's a vet, and that's kind of why he gets the job, obviously, because he mentions that. But he's kind of so innocent, and then he falls in love with this girl he's never even talked to or met. Takes her to this porn theater. She rejects him. I don't want to say harshly, but it's understandable in her respect, right?
Yeah,
You'd take me
yeah.
to a porn theater? Like we could just go to a regular movie theater.
Maybe
And then
thought he
by
wanted to
the
get some.
end, he's looking at himself in the mirror. You talking to me? Are you talking to me?
Yeah,
I don't
that
see
line
anybody
always.
else here.
Yeah,
And it's improv, right? And
yeah.
then
And Robert De Niro actually like started to get irritated because so many people were saying that to him, but
oh, I'm sure.
like
And
on the
then
street and shit.
Jodie Foster character, and then at the end he's just walking through that brothel and just killing everybody, and he's got the gun to his head. And honestly, it'd been so long since I'd seen it. I, I thought he killed himself.
He tries to shoot himself, but he runs out of
Right.
bullets.
And his face is like he's just smiling, and you saw this innocent, halfway cordial guy, kind of fucked up, but not really knowing where he's at. And then at the end, he's like, "This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I saved this young woman, and now I'm gonna leave this world."
Yeah, I mean, you can say
And it,
he's an odd dude. I mean, and some of that's just from the PTSD from Vietnam, but it's like, yeah, it's still a great performance either way.
did you rewatch it for the pod?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh, and but before I had seen it just this last, obviously saw it for the pod, but then I saw it sometime last year. But like you, I hadn't seen it before that in like 10 years, probably
Yeah.
easily, maybe even more than that. But yeah, it's again, it's not one of my favorites, but
Yep.
I
Similar to
appreciate.
Raging Bull.
Yeah. See, I mean, I enjoy Raging Bull a lot more than Taxi Driver because I mean, Taxi Driver is basically just about one dude the whole time talking to himself. So,
Yeah,
but
that's fair. It's very dark. Yeah. I mean, I have a lot more notes to say, but we're gonna keep it going here. So at number two, I don't think we're going to argue at all because it is the last movie on the list, Raging Bull.
yep, second to last.
Or what's that?
We haven't talked about our number one yet. We're at number two
Well,
still.
yeah, yeah, no, I think, yeah, we're
Yeah,
we're gonna be in
yeah,
accordance for
you're
number
right.
one. Uh,
Yeah,
give me your thoughts on Raging Bull.
dude, as I was watching it this go around, I mean, I kind of pulled back on it a little bit because I hate to say it, but it could be one of his best. I mean, obviously it's number two. It's one of his best directed films,
Yeah,
but the way he shot the boxing sequences, like inside the ring, which I don't believe in a boxing movie, I don't believe that's ever been done before. And he also filmed each
no,
fight in a different format or different lens or different lighting, and you mix
yep,
that brilliant direction with one of the most iconic, greatest performances in cinema history, and that's you got.
mm.
In my opinion, the best movie of the '80s was Raging Bull. So
Yeah, which is so interesting because in a lot of the research I did, a lot of critics have that same feeling, and it's so funny because if you look back at different movies through the last couple of decades. They talk about, well, this movie was made in the 90s, but is it really kind of an 80s movie? This movie was made in 2000. Is it really kind of a 90s movie?
yeah, right.
It's always, and a lot of people say Raging Bull is probably the best movie of the 80s. It was released in 1980.
In '80, yeah.
right? So I mean, looking at it, obviously Scorsese had the
It's
idea and started shooting before 1980. It was released in 1980, yes, but I mean, I think it speaks volumes for the fact that a lot of people consider this the best movie of the 80s when it was released in
based it.
1980.
Yeah, I agree
And
100%.
like I mentioned earlier, man, it's a tough rewatch. This is not
Yeah,
a fun movie.
it's no, it's not. And I was gonna that was gonna be my if you had it further back. I mean, you did obviously, but like because it was such a dark and depressing movie, I was like, well, yeah. I mean, most we're kind of the same. Like we like to enjoy the movies we watch, but even though I'm kind of drawn
Right.
to depressing movies, but it's I can understand that you'd put
Yeah.
it back further because of how yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
had
like
it
you
at two
said,
originally.
grim and freaking uncomfortable the movie is at times, and freaking
Well,
all
there's
that
so much
shit.
domestic violence,
Yeah,
and there's so much rage towards the women in his life, right? And
towards
is that
everybody.
accurate?
He fucking hates everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Even his brother, right?
Yeah,
And is it accurate? I'm gonna say yeah, it's pretty accurate because Jake LaMotta was right there the whole time,
yeah, yeah.
and he signed off on it. Originally, I had it at two.
You should have kept it there. You needed it there.
I know I put it at four. I ended up at five. Like it's not a fun movie. I think is why I moved it down. Is it a very well directed movie? Yes. Is it very realistic? Yes. The fight scenes are incredible, even made in 1979, 1980. Watching it now, like when he's in the ring, damn.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty realistic. It's pretty visceral, and I also read Scorsese made the decision to put it in black and white because after shooting so many fight scenes, there was so much blood. He thought it would
Yeah,
be unnerving for spectators to watch this much blood flying through the air that he's like, well, if we make it black and white,
oh yeah, and most of the whenever boxing was televised, it was also in black and white. That was another
right.
emphasis for the black and white. But I thought
So
it
it
looked
makes it
great.
accurate for the time.
Yeah,
Yeah. Again, a ton of notes on it, but we're gonna have to move on. Which brings us to our consensus number one. Honestly, I had no doubt this was gonna be our number one.
I like barely.
Like even when we go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I similar to what happened with when we covered Raiders of the Lost Ark with Goodfellas. I
Yeah,
just kept writing and writing and writing consecutive, like 2 pages of nonstop notes, which obviously I should have had paragraphs separate them, but I've never been good at grammar.
same here.
So, but
Same here.
I basically what I wrote in the notes when I was ranking them was we could dissect each and every scene,
Oh my,
everything he's ever done in any movie in the past, like collide into this masterpiece between the overhead shots, freeze frame, tracking shots, long takes, the handheld, dolly zooms, and like between the strategic camera lenses and lighting, and on top of a fucking
yes,
killer soundtrack with memorable performances and obviously
yes,
Shoemaker's magnificent editing as always. I mean, how many weaknesses does this fucking movie have? Not very many.
zero.
So, yeah. So,
Like everything you just said, everything you just said.
definitely a little Rain Man quote right
Yeah,
there. Definitely
you,
20.
you
Definitely.
fucking nailed it. Like I it might be a perfect movie. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
it,
We're,
you and
we're,
I obviously
we're like
love this
almost
movie.
speechless.
Yeah, I mean, again, I rewatched it and it's like, damn, I've probably seen this movie. Well, I think Heat. I think I've rewatched Heat more now in my life. But this was the movie when I went from watching, quote unquote kiddie movies and like a lot of just surface and Disney or whatever. I first saw Goodfellas and I'm like, okay, I am into a different sort of filmmaking now.
Yeah, me too.
Like
Me
the,
too.
I'm it's like, wow, I didn't know the first scene. As long as you remember, all I wanted to be as a gangster. And he shuts the
Hmm.
trunk, and and you just saw someone get stabbed several times.
And then shot
And you're like,
several
why the
times.
fuck would you ever want to be a gangster? Like,
And then the fucking Tony Bennett song comes on and
and
freaking
it
you're
rags
off.
to riches. It's
Yeah.
just, and you're on the way, right?
Yeah.
And Scorsese's talked about this. It's been written about plenty. As the movie goes on for its first, hour 15, you're just on this way up. It's a total nothing can go wrong. We're kings of the world. We're on super high in our lives, masters of our domain, right? And
Yeah.
then the second half is just all coming straight down.
Hmm.
And by
Yeah.
the end of it, you just feel almost sick. And he's talked about it where he wanted that to happen, right? He wanted everybody to feel the high of the life and the drugs and everything. And then by the end of the movie, I want you to be disoriented and thrown around and almost sick to your stomach because that's how it feels in
Yeah.
this world. You are drained. Like after that sequence, you're like, Jesus Christ, how could somebody live like this?
Hmm. Yeah.
It, and
It's
I think you and I don't know I don't know if it's true anymore. Maybe just so much time has passed, or whatever the case may be. But you and I used to quote this movie the most.
yeah. That and
Fucking break up my party.
you fucking feel. You think you feel strong?
You feel strong?
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Fucking break up my putty.
Yeah.
All three people.
You fucking shoot the guy. Good shot. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know. Like,
And you, if
I ain't got
you
no
like,
fucking line.
I've listened to it with my headphones, and when he says the freaking "I'm a good shot," Anthony goes, "Well, from this distance, you got a problem with what I did, Anthony?" Nope,
I
I
don't think I've ever heard that.
don't. Well, yeah, from this distance, it's funny, dude. Yeah,
It's just, I mean, so many lines that you and I have quoted. Go get your fucking shine box.
yeah. It's it's
You don't talk
fuck.
very
It's one of the
much.
greats, dude. Yeah, that's
I
basically
mean, and then
what you need to say. Yeah, just
for Pesci to get the Oscar, and the scene they play is, "Am I a clown? I'm here to make you laugh."
that was
And
Pesci's
then,
idea too.
right, that actually happened to him in real life, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Marty, like, let's incorporate this." And yeah, I mean, we could go on and on. And the tracking shot through the Copacabana, and
Yeah, yeah.
Karen's first introduction to who he is, and yeah, I mean, this entire movie is just it's spectacular. It's again, I mentioned Heat earlier. This movie was my favorite movie of all time. It's still maybe one or two. It oscillates back and forth. God, I mean, what more can you say about it? We could probably spend an hour just on Goodfellas.
Oh, for sure. We could deep dive this. Yeah, but we're at the 2 hour mark, bro.
I know, I know, I know. We need to wrap this up, everybody. I know I said at the beginning, your host, who's supposed to move it along, um, just fawned over Scorsese, and I even said, hey, I could talk about him forever. I'm not going to do that this time. And now here we are at 120 minutes. I'm sure Zach will edit this a little bit to kind of cut off
We'll
some of our
try to, yeah.
rambling.
But don't forget
Okay,
before we close out, got to go through the whole top 10.
we're definitely gonna recap here.
Good, good, good.
Uh, again, for those who don't know the pod, haven't listened, I'm gonna stop saying that after maybe our 20th pod because if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
We're finally going to recap because Zach and I do bird walk so much. Our final rankings are as follows: number 10, The Color of Money; number 9, The Irishman, which we can still debate later; number 8, Mean Streets; 7, After Hours; 6, Casino; 5, Scorsese's only Oscar at 5; 4, Wolf of Wall Street. Taxi Driver at 3. The depressing Raging Bull at 2. And number 1, no doubt about it, Goodfellas. That is our final rankings. If you disagree or you want to comment, please post something either on Facebook, Instagram. We might get to Twitter or X someday, Snapchat, all those good things.
Yeah, that will happen. And maybe Twitter. I don't know about Snapchat, but Twitter maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how to work that.
Yeah.
Again, my name is Jaaron. I'm with my good friend Zach here. We are the Average Jives. We are going to continue ranking our movies based on Zach's brainchild of categories that he has. Please follow us. Please like us. We're going to drop our first. Well, you can edit that out because now I've already dropped it.
Yeah. That's all right. Well, everybody, take care and see you next time.
Wrap. It's a wrap. Come back tomorrow. Harry, Fuck.